Hi everyone, how's it going? I hope you all are doing well. First of all, I want to say thank you all for all the new subscribers to this channel. I'm really blessed that and happy and excited that even though the videos that I made in the past couple of weeks, despite the imperfections with the audio and all that, most of you still were able to wanted to follow and support the channel. So thank you for your kindness and really thank you for being a blessing in that way to me. So I appreciate that. I saw the subscription kind of going up, and I thought to myself, I was talking to my wife, I said, wow, like really, most people are actually picking up on some of this. One of my videos had over 13,000 views. So thank you for your generosity. I appreciate that. Now, I do want to, moving forward, take this a bit more seriously. And I would encourage you to share the content with some of your friends if you've enjoyed some of the things that you've seen in the past in this channel. And I'm hoping that we can also share more educational content to help you live an extraordinary life as we look at the life of people that have gone before us and even people in our time and see what we can learn from their strength, from their character, from their psychology, right? To kind of inform how we live our own life. And also beyond that as well, as most of you know, I might also dabble in other topics as well, like faith, well-being, things like human flourishing, and general topic that I think that can help you live an extraordinary life. Now, but today I do want to come back to our series on our series on the psychology of famous people, and really to look at their psychology to see what we can learn from them. And I want to talk about the inspirational legacy of Bishop Carlton Pearson, who really has quite a journey of faith and inclusion. And we want to remember Bishop Carlton Pearson simply because I believe that he might have his flaws and all that, but he was a visionary whose voice really transcended the pulpit and reached into the hearts of community of faith. And in this particular episode, I want to reflect on his life's mission to kind of reshape the conversation around Christianity and inclusion. And in doing this, the goal really is to focus on the strengths and not so much dabble into the things he said or not said and the theology around some of his teachings. But I want to focus on the strength and the character because I believe that it takes a level of character to give up some of the limelight just for your belief. And I think there's something to learn from that. Now, first of all, let's start with a bit of early life and education. As we know, for some of us that are familiar with Bishop Pearson, he was born in 1953, and he grew up in a religious environment that valued the gospel music and passionate preaching, as you would tell, especially if you're part of the African-American community or a part of a church that's around what they call the Black church. You know that preaching is really, it's got to be passionate. You've got to show a bit of charisma. So he grew up in those environments, and singing has to be part of it. So you find that if you grow up in this kind of environment, of course, you are most likely to kind of carry on some of the residues of those cues. And so he showed the early signs of leadership, often captivating listeners with his charisma. And so these formative years of his life led to the groundwork for his future ministry. But I think that psychologically that these traits can be linked to the big five traits, with Pearson kind of exhibiting high levels of openness and extroversion, traits that are often commonly associated with influential leaders. So now, having one advantage of growing up in an environment that has that is imbued with charisma and passion, it's really the fact that it allows you to be open, but also and you become socially competent as well. Which no wonder why in Black communities you can feel that sense of openness and extroversion in most of their community, and so. But really, it's allowed him to build a personality trait that is very much common among the influential leaders. But I want to talk about the gospel of inclusion that he preached during his time. That also came with a lot of consequences. Pearson's gospel of inclusion kind of stemmed from a radical interpretation of the Bible that really proposed a universal salvation. Now, this theological perspective suggests that it kind of suggests a more loving and accepting God than traditional teachers would allow. But also, I think from a psychological standpoint, this belief system kind of challenged the status quo, and which, of course, would kind of indicate a strong sense of moral reasoning and cognitive complexity that allowed the Bishop Pearson to hold nuanced views despite potential backlash. So there is something about that I think that was outstanding, because he did lose not just his church, but also his followership and the connections that he had among his peers at this time. But what are some of the cultural impacts and how did media contribute in shaping the response that people have to this man? Now, I think that Bishop Pearson really reached his reach kind of extended into the media, where his message was even amplified through television appearances. In fact, there's even a Netflix movie, I think it's called Come Sunday, that was done in honor to his work. In fact, his oratory skills and media savvy kind of made complex, his media savviness and with his oratory skills kind of made this complex theological ideas accessible to a wider audience. And I think this strategic use of media kind of helps us to understand, or rather illustrates, the concept that we refer to in psychology as social proof. Now, social proof is where people adapt their behavior or beliefs in response to what they perceive as the behavior of the masses or influential figures. So in other words, social proof is when we adapt our behavior or our belief system in response to what we kind of see or hear as being the behavior of the general population or people that are influential in our life. But let's talk about the challenges and the resilience that Bishop Pearson had faced. Now, he was faced with excommunication and ostracization, and but despite being faced with being excommunicated, Pearson's commitment to his beliefs was unwavering, interestingly. And this period of his life, it's sort of a testament to his resilience. I think it's a key trait that psychologists kind of associate with long-term well-being and effective stress management. The fact that he was able to be resilient despite the opposition and the excommunication that he had. And I think that his ability to really maintain his stance despite the adversity that he had experienced kind of demonstrates his psychological strength. And I think also his integrity, if I would dare to say. Now, what about his legacy and his influence overall? I think that Bishop Pearson, his legacy is multifaceted, right? It influenced both the religious and the secular world. His inclusive message has outlasted his critics and even continues to inspire those who seek a more accepting form of faith and spirituality. In fact, his influence can be understood through, I think, what is called the lens of transformational leadership. And transformational leadership theory posits that leaders can inspire followers to change their expectations, to change their perceptions and also their motivations in order to work towards a common goal. I would say that his stance and his resilience and his ability to withstand the pressure becomes part of the legacy that he had. In fact, recently when, unfortunately, he passed away, I could see a lot of leaders within the church that really celebrated him. And of course, these were people that probably wouldn't have perhaps associated with him while he was alive. But that goes to tell you the human nature in a way, right? And now he's celebrated for holding on to his beliefs, which I think was, quite outstanding, despite losing a lot of things in the process. And so, as we conclude and reflect on Bishop Pearson's life, we really see a man who kind of embodied the courage of his convictions. In fact, his legacy teaches us the importance of empathy, understanding, and even the power of inclusion. Now, may his life really help us to be tenacious in our own pursuit of what we believe to be right and just. I hope so. But also, through this exploration of his life, I think that we learn that Bishop Pearson's life offers rich lessons, especially when we look at the power of conviction and the impact of inclusive thinking, and even the psychological resilience required to stand firm in our own beliefs. Now, his stories, I think, also is a reminder of the human capacity for compassion and the potential for one individual to create waves of change. And it's unfortunate that we've lost Bishop Pearson, but I think he does have an enduring legacy for really thinking outside the box and challenging norms that have cost him a lot, I believe. That we might not understand the impact of what he's done, but I think it's important, even the church do need thinkers that would always think outside of the norms, outside of what they've been taught, and prod the very thing that they absorb as truth. But thank you for joining me on this particular episode. I hope you are able to be part of this journey, subscribe to this channel, and there's a lot of good content coming your way. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. For now, you take care. I'm Victor Counted. Bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.